More information is being revealed on a nearly daily basis about Donald Trump now that his taxes have not yet been fully made public, but bits are beginning to be leaked. For instance, he reportedly paid little or nothing in federal income taxes between 2015 and 2020. Importantly, despite claiming millions of dollars in earnings. So here is what he actually paid. So there are a few years in which he paid a little bit. You might get nearly $1 million in 2018, for instance, okay? $750 in 2016, that's probably comparable to what you and I paid, right? 2020, remember, he was president, he paid $0. Now, for someone who reportedly is a billionaire, who pulls in many, many millions of dollars in income a year, any single year there is damning that that's all that he paid. But it gets worse the more you learn. Documents released Tuesday night show that he frequently made tens of millions of dollars during that exact period. That's on a yearly basis. But he was able to whittle away his tax bill by claiming steep business losses that offset that income. For instance, in 2015, Trump reported making more than $50 million through a combination of capital gains, interest, dividends, and other earnings. But that was offset by more than $85 million in reported losses, which I'm sure are totally legit and were not artificially inflated to get rid of his tax burden. He was actually hit by the alternative minimum tax that year. That's why he paid over $600,000 in taxes. If not for that, he would have paid zero that year and in many of these other years. The following year, he reported making $30 million, but what do you know, bad business year, $60 million in losses, so he didn't need to pay any income tax. Well, $750 to be fair, he did pay. In 2020, by the way, they reported a negative income of $4.7 million, $0 of taxable income, a net tax liability of $0. That year, they claimed a tax refund of $5.47 million. Do you know how many speeches he gave that year? Do you know how many products he sold that year? Do you know how much money he raised that year? He got money back from the government. But Vladimir Zelensky is a welfare queen. I don't want you to forget that. Brett, what do you think?
The problem isn't that you and I don't understand how this can be the case. The problem is that the elites do understand how this can be the case. They know how to structure their affairs in ways that allow them to make all that money and then afterward have the government pay them more. That's the problem, is that you and I, we don't get to know any of that. We will never be able to unlock that code that they all know. You know how they know it? Because those people paid money for the tax code to be written in their favor. That's what's, and I do want to talk about what the alternative minimum tax is. The alternative minimum tax is when the government looks at you and goes, all right, I play this game a lot. I know that you are able to say like, oh, this lens cap is actually a business expense. And I know it only markets for about $15, but really I had to spend $15 million. The government's like, yeah, that's every day. But this year you did that too much. So you did it, you played too much of a game. Even you couldn't contort yourself down and just pretending you didn't make any money, you lost all that money. So you have to pay at least this much. He played too much. The other thing that a lot of us, the left, I hate to break it to everybody who's watching this program who thinks they can win on an argument that like, oh, that Trump doesn't pay taxes. I don't think you can win on that. It really is most people's inclination that they too don't want to pay taxes. And they want to believe that Trump's system of approaching it is a very smart way to be. He said it, he got a lot of people to like him and see him as a human being when he said, I don't pay taxes. Yeah, that makes me smart. That's how most people feel about the tax code. But what I need us all to frame this as is that Trump is also saying in these years that he lost $50 million. He's such a great businessman who, according to his own tax form, lost $50 million. That's what he told the government. So he's either lying about losing $50 million, which makes him a liar, or he's telling the truth, which makes him a horrible, horrible businessman.
That's true. Look, I think there are definitely a lot of people, I would say probably the vast majority of the MAGA base that agrees with you. They dream of being able to get out of their tax burden, so they're fine with Trump. I don't know that I believe in general though. I mean, when you poll people about whether the taxes on like the top 1% should go up, it's like 60-70% approval. If they want the taxes to go up, they presumably want the taxes to be paid, at least some portion of them, some tiny fraction of them. But anyway, for me, it's important to make clear to people that when you look at the years where he paid taxes, and then you look at 2020 where he got $5.47 million back, there is a case to be made that Donald Trump is a net drain on taxpayers over the last decade. And for a guy who has billions of dollars, it's weird. It's weird that can be a tenable legal situation.
And I would say he's different. I put this comment in last show, and you read it. But like, he is different from most quote billionaires. Most quote billionaires run big organizations. They run big companies that have a lot of employees and pay people salaries, and that's why one would argue that the tax code is written to say, okay, I'm not gonna charge you all these taxes because you are paying Social Security for your employees, you are paying Medicare for your employees, you're splitting that with the government, you're buying them insurance, you're doing things we need you to do, so we're not gonna charge you on that. Trump doesn't have any of that. The things that aren't on his tax report are like household employee taxes. So that's like money he's paying his servants.
Yeah,
like his servants are really the only employees. It's Alan Weisselberg, and it's his kids. He is not contributing to the economy. He's licensing his name. He's selling his name and buying property. So he's not really contributing really anything to the economy in a way that would justify any reduced tax liability.
Yeah, there's some fascinating stuff about these massive contractor payments to Ivanka Trump, who is drawing a salary from him at the same time. There is theoretically some stuff in here that in theory could be investigated by the IRS. We'll see if it ever is.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.